done it back-to-back like that? So you look on the 15th and the 16th, that 15th is a Thursday game, Oakdale at Coalfield. And then the very next day, we're going to have South Doyle at Anderson County. 2 great games back-to-back. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like I said, we've got an action-packed schedule moving forward, so make sure you tune in every Friday night on BBB 12 TV.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun this season. I hope you are as well. So I believe we are ready to get it on out of here. So we will turn it over to Jonathan Cox and Rob Black tonight. That's awesome for the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard show. Make sure you give them a call. Let them know where you were and what happened in the game that you saw. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and being part of our broadcast. I want to say thank you to OEB Law again for just having us here and for providing the $1,000 check to all the home teams that we get to see this season. So I'm Aaron Harvey. And for James Gibson, telling you so long, folks.
This year's chili cook-off. Our girls played in the softball finals last spring. You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
He remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Jeff, Mary, Dan, Sarah.
When your champions are always on the go, make sure their journey is safe and reliable. Ray Varner Ford in Clinton can drive you to the next level of performance in this pre-owned 2020 Ford Edge ST all-wheel drive, $46,590. 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, $51,590. 2019 Lincoln Continental, $41,970. Need car service? Visit our Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center today. Local you trust, pre-owned vehicles you can't afford. Ray Varner Ford, your East Tennessee Ford dealership.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Rinnai, hot water for all.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
Welcome to the Free Medical Clinic Friday night scoreboard. My buddy's got the COVID tonight, and he will not be with me. However, we will have the show, and I'll have two special guests a little later on tonight for the Friday night scoreboard. We would like to thank the Free Medical Clinic for the sponsor. There's over 14,000 people in Anderson, Morgan, and Roane counties that qualify for no charge primary care, and you could be one of them. Go to fmcor.org and find out how you get a no charge care from the Free Medical Clinic. What a great night for high school football. I don't know if I have an Oak Ridge final yet. On the way in, they were trailing 14-10, so if you've got me a final, if you got me a score, if you're listening in, I tried to follow David Clary on the way in. But, okay, I just heard 14-10 is the final. Kind of a surprise there that the Wildcats lose tonight to a young Bearden team. So that kind of is a surprise, I think, from all parties involved. I think everyone suspected Oak Ridge to win that football game. Obviously, Greenville rolls big. Again, that's for all of our Anderson County people. Anderson County goes up to Science Hill, scores 21 quick points, gets in a lightning delay. Shortly after, comes back out and scores another touchdown and has a running clock up at Science Hill. The reason why that, I think, is important is because your region, when you start looking into that later on in the playoffs, you have a team in Elizabethan who went to Science Hill and got beat up pretty good last week, and now Anderson County goes on the road and wins a big game at Science Hill. We'll jump off to a caller here. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Lady Buck. I just I know I called last week. Sorry about Wiener having COVID, by the way. I just want to send a big shout out to some of the old Harriman Blue Devils, which would be Les White and Johnny Poole. And, you know, we're going to support the Blue Devils 100%. And that's pretty much what I got to say.
Well, yeah, that is obviously, supporting your high school kids and your local teams. That's what we're here for. I know that's what the fans are out there for. Some years are better than others. And
I know.
And Harriman.
Hey.
Harriman came off with a big win tonight, though, 47-12 over Wartburg.
Oh, I know. But let's go back to 1972 and just cheer on these older Blue Devils that are still out there cheering on these younger Blue Devils.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it. Now, who does Harriman play next Friday night?
I'm being chased.
I'm sorry, caller. I can't hear you. My headset's not working, and I can't hear you loud enough in the back. So I apologize for that. But keep supporting the Harriman boys, and hopefully they have a very successful year as it unfolds.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Like she said, Harriman with a big bounce-back win tonight over Wartburg, a Wartburg team that played Coalfield really close last week in a good football game. Clinton, not got a final of that when I came in tonight just yet. Coalfield did get a big win tonight over Scott County, 55-14. Good to see them put some points back on the board again. West in the game of the week for 5-star preps comes out slow but beats Farragut 40-21. Carnes wins 42-14 over William Blunt. Campbell County 33-21 over Heritage. But I think like I said, the story of the night on a couple big games in our area is the way Anderson County absolutely just demolishes a PAL team and then turns around this week, goes to Science Hill on the road, a team that beat them last year on a comeback win, and just absolutely dominates that football game from start to end. So I'm sure we'll hear from Coach Gillum here shortly. A few scores of interest from last night. Maryville beats Powell 38-13. Alcoa beats GP 52-17, and that game at one time was 14-10. So they just laid the hammer there late. Morristown West keeps Hardin Valley winless with a 27-13 victory there. I think the team right now everybody's shocked of is Webb. Webb's just destroying teams. After Hall's loss last week to Gibbs, Gibbs turns around, thinks they're maybe trending in the right direction, and get beat by Webb tonight 52-17. So if you're out watching and you're driving back or you're watching from your couch, call. We will talk high school football till about 11:45 tonight. We'll take the last 15 minutes to talk about the Vols, who will play on Thursday night this coming week. And we'll kind of wrap up the high school thing tonight and the show around midnight. I know some of you are traveling back from Science Hill and from different areas. The last that I noticed is Kingston was winning big, but I don't have a final there. We'll get you the final there as soon as we can. Sevier County with a big win tonight at Carter. If anybody's got a Clinton score, call me with a Clinton score. Interesting to see. Okay, 45-14 Clinton. So Clinton's off to a 2-0 start. Interesting to see how that ends up playing out. That's a team that probably has playoff aspirations. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Cox, what's down, man?
Hey, man, I cannot hear you. My headsets are not working.
Hey, is there two of them there or just one?
Okay, go ahead. Try me again.
Can you hear me now?
I do have you in my ear now. Go ahead.
All right. I thought, because my two-setter the other night, only one of them worked. He said it would only pick one of them up, so I didn't know what was out there. So, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Oak Ridge got beat tonight.
Yeah, I'm shocked as well, David. You got a young football team in Bearden playing a very physical, what looked to be one of the better 5A teams in the state, especially in our area. Big bruiser for a running back, good-looking line, and for them to only score 10 points tonight. I'm interested to see if there was fumbles involved or what went on there, but I think that was a big shock for the night.
Yeah, that's just shocking to me. I didn't. That's a W that I'd put down. I thought Oak Ridge and Clinton both would come in after talking to you from last week about AE. That Clinton and Oak Ridge both would come in 2-0, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, I don't care to tell you, I'm sort of shocked that the Anderson County scored tonight. I don't know whether you are or not. I don't mean that I'm shocked that they won. I'm shocked that they won and that No didn't play. So that's the shocking part. I thought they'd have to have him for the physicality part of it.
Yeah, I mean, they go up there and they go up 21-0, and then there's a lightning delay. Then they come out and they punch another one on the board, and I think they learned their lesson last year from what happened against Science Hill. They kept their foot on the gas, and before you know it, it's 35-6. And then they just, basically hold on to win and do the job. I think Anderson County people probably have to feel as good right now as they felt in a long time about their football team, because not only are they 2-0,
they've beat quality opponents.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not saying Science Hill's been anything to write home about, but I was looking back just the other day because I made a statement on the show the other night and I wanted to back it up. I think the Powell win is maybe the best win Anderson County has had in the last 8 to 10 years. I mean, you go back, Anderson County won a big football game, Davies' first or second year there on the road with Tanner Williams at quarterback in the playoffs. But, you know, you got a 5A state champions coming to Anderson County last week, and Anderson County dominates them.
Well, that's, you know, you could be right. You could be right with what you just said, you know, but still yet it's early right now. We'll see what AC does. I mean, AC's problems is not the first 10 games. AC's problem is the last 3 games. So that's the bugaboo that they've got to get over, and I know people up there are probably tired of me and you talking about it, and I'm sure tomorrow somebody will send me a text and give me a little hate stuff on it, and that's perfectly fine because I'm a big boy. But guess what? It's the truth.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's pretty consistent. You know, last year they started off rough. I think they were maybe 0-2 to start the season, and they beat Fulton pretty bad. But yeah, it's the Greenville Elizabethan story at the end of the year. But if you remember what Coach Gillum talked about last Friday night, is something that me and you've talked about quite a bit with Anderson County football. And it's not that they didn't have a tough kid here or a tough kid there or tough kids, but they never presented themselves as a tough football team, one that could physically whip up on you and be tough enough to win a 14-10 football game late in the year against a Greenville or Elizabethan.
Well, I didn't tell you this last week, but I heard Coach Gillum talking about it on pregame up at AC last week. He was talking about all those years that Anderson County went down in the Chattanooga area and played all those cupcake games down there with those opponents. I think that really hurt Anderson County. I really do. I think that took the mental edge off of them and made them a little soft, and they've had to work really hard in order to get that back.
Yeah. Yeah, because winning is one of those things sometimes, you know, it gives you a false sense of hope. Especially when you're playing teams like they were winning or playing.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, it's easy to lose, but it's very hard to win. It's not easy to win. You just don't get off the bus and put your pads on, strap your helmet on, and go out and say, "Well, that's it, 27-0. Let's go home." It's a little harder than that.
Yeah.
And I just think that AC just, you know, maybe this is the year. What I've liked about what I've heard out of AC this year is nothing. You've not heard all the talk. This is the year. This is the year. You've not heard of anything. Nothing. They just came out and played football, and you can see the results of it right now. They're 2-0, and they beat a team tonight that I bet you if you polled 20 people that knows anything about high school football, that they would have took Science Hill to have won that game tonight.
Yeah. I think Jesse picked Anderson County to win. I just don't. On my side, I thought they would go up there and win. I didn't think they would have a running clock.
No, I didn't think that. Well, you know, Jesse's he's an Anderson County boy, so that's one reason he does that. He always picks them. You know, he's typical, but. You know,
hey, they're a good pick for the first 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 11 weeks of the season.
Yeah, listen, I like Coach Gillum and them guys up there. And I really like Coach Lambert. There's not a better guy than Tony Lambert. I mean, back in the day, when I say back in the day, I mean back in the day, we tried to get him to come to Clinton, and we begged him to come to Clinton, and he wouldn't do it. And but he's a great football coach. He's a he's a heck of a recruiter in the hallways in high school, and you know, I just can't imagine if I was a kid at 15, 16 years old that I wouldn't want to play football for him in some form or fashion or do something. But anyway, I want to be playing for him.
You know, I think the first 2 weeks it's shown the defense is better now than it was. I don't know if that's, you know, can't necessarily say it's all coordinator related, but they have given up less points these first 2 games. You do have to keep in mind Potts got hurt. I think when Potts comes back, Powell's going to be a different football team. But at the end of the day, Anderson County is lighting up the scoreboard right now against a 5A state champion and a 6A football team.
Exactly. So kudos to AC tonight for the big win. And we'll see.
Hey, David, you've been home most of the night. What was the Oak Ridge beer? Did you get to watch that or listen to that?
I didn't get to hear any of it. For some reason, I couldn't pick it up on the radio. I couldn't get it on Channel 15. So I don't know if somebody listened to it. They had better luck than I did, because I was really interested. That was a game that I was really interested in, knowing what was coming for next week, because I wanted to see. I wanted to watch that Oak Ridge again, get ready for next week, and play Clinton. So,
I would think Clinton. David, would you not think Clinton's the favorite to win that football game after the first 2 weeks of the season and the way it's unfolded now?
Man, I'm afraid to pick Clinton. I really am. They should be Cox, but there's been a lot of times Clinton's had a better team than Oak Ridge, and it didn't work out. You get caught up in the hype, and you get penalties, or somebody gets ejected, and we'll just have to see if Clinton can control their emotions. From what I listened to Clinton tonight with AE, I think there was a few penalties. I don't know how many exactly, but I know there was a few penalties. That'll have to be cleaned up. You can't make mistakes. You don't beat Oak Ridge making mistakes like that, Dave.
No.
But all I would say to Scott Cummings is, hey, welcome to Oak Ridge, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome to OR. It's about to get real, isn't it?
It's about to get real. Hey, man, I hope I see you next week, buddy.
Hey, Queener, get feeling better.
All right, man.
I'll pick you up next Friday.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, see you, buddy. We are going to take our first commercial break here. We would like to thank the Free Medical Clinic for doing all they do for us here at BBB TV, Channel 12. Such a generous donation and sponsor, and what they do is such a good thing. Please don't forget to go to their website, fmcor.org, for more info. This year, the Free Medical Clinic provided over 7,000 patient appointments worth over $4.2 million of free medical care. If you can't afford a medical care, go see our Free Medical Clinic, fmcor.org. We will be right back after this commercial break.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference, so we can all continue to move forward together.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Football is back. And OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits, perfect plays, and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense and tackle any obstacles blocking you from scoring a full and fair settlement. Call OEB Law 865-546-1111 and turn your wreck into a check.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Scoreboard, sponsored by the Free Medical Clinic. We'll go right back to the phone lines. Coach Keith.
What's going on?
Not much, man. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm pretty happy.
So you took a trip over to Austin East tonight. Tell us a little bit about that and how that went.
I'll tell you, we started off real fast. They counterpunched us a little bit in the second half, and they scored. And we made a few minor adjustments, and we never looked back after that. They have a plethora of talent. We got a couple kids banged up, but I thought all in all, we played a very good game of football, both sides of the ball. I think the one thing that I like the most about the offense that we're running right now is that we're balanced. I think we had like 280 yards passing and probably about maybe 170 running. And being balanced gives us an advantage going into conference play. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Play, I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, the Billingsley kid for Austin East, I watched him play last week. He's a solid running back.
Yeah, Coach, I expect him to be playing on Saturday somewhere.
Yeah, he's not an easy tackle. That is for sure.
My linebackers will tell you that. They banged up a little bit, bouncing off of him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost like the more they ran it against Fulton, the better off they were. It was almost like they might have won the game if they didn't pass the ball last week.
I totally agree with you. I mean, they much improved since last year. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, they are.
First quarter, we couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fatigue set in, and we were warmed down a little bit, and we were able to run the ball.
Coach, anybody stand out tonight on defense with a certain amount of tackles or interceptions or anything like that?
Demond Marable, he had an interception, and Chauncey Phelps had about 9 tackles, and Caleb Cook, our linebackers played really well tonight because they ran a lot of ISO, and they were singling out the backs, and they were feeling pretty good. I thought we did really well on run stopping. Not as well as I would have liked on pass rush, but they did really well. Those two linebackers, Caleb Cook and Chauncey Phelps, I thought they played an outstanding game on defense.
Awesome. Now you were able to rush the ball tonight, so obviously your line blocked well. Who ran the football for you well tonight, and how'd your quarterback do?
We ran the ball by committee. We Erie King had a touchdown. I think he had like maybe 4 carries for 50 yards, and Juwan Guns had 9 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the quarterback threw 4 touchdowns for about roughly 280 yards. That's just a rough estimate. Thought the line did a real good job. We were able to run traps and kick, and we threw the ball. He had at least 3 to 4 seconds to toss the ball. I think Lucas Kendall had 3 touchdowns. We did pretty good. He spread it around pretty good. Weston Phillips caught a touchdown. Yeah, he spread it around pretty good. We had about 3 or 4 different people that had touchdowns.
Good deal. Now, obviously, you'll enjoy this one, but you turn your attention to the Wildcats. Is that game at Blankenship? Is that correct?
Yeah, you're talking about opponent 3. Oh, yeah, we'll see them over there at Blankenship.
I got you. Well, I know a lot of excitement going to that game. Obviously, they took one on the chin tonight to Bearden. Good football team. I know you all will be ready to go, Coach, and hopefully we're talking to you next Friday night with a win under your belt.
Yes, sir. I mean, I think the thing that us going to Blankenship from past Clinton team is we can match up with their speed. We got the same amount of athleticism, and I think the mental block is gone. I don't think we're gonna roll that scared up. We don't care about the 72 steps, and we don't care about none of that.
There ain't no sense of being scared, Coach.
There you go.
That's right. All right, buddy. Hey, congratulations on going 2-0, and we look forward to following you the rest of the season.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach Keith.
Bye-bye.
You know, and I think that's something that's a great point from Coach Keith. He facing that head on, and Oak Ridge obviously sort of been the big brother and whipped up on him for a while, and he's facing that head on and just saying, hey, it's time to go down there and get the job done and not look back. So Clinton's football program is a lot better right now than it was last year and even the year before that. So it's trending in the right direction. So hats off to Clinton and their fans and Coach Keith on another good win tonight. We'll probably get some more coaches calling in as the night goes. We'll get Jesse Smithy calling in. If you have any questions or you don't want to talk college football or anything, let us know. Recap a little bit if you're just coming in from the games. Harriman bounces back with a big win tonight over Wartburg. Coalfield gets their offense started up tonight, scores 55 against Scott County. Greenback goes on the road and wins a big game up at Oneida. You've got the Loudon-Lenore City rivalry on tonight. Loudon won that one 21-14. Big win for Loudon. Lenore City's got a new coach, new blood there, and a lot of people thought Lenore City was going to pull that game off at Loudon. Coach Herrick hung in there and got another win. Clinton goes on the road to beat a good Austin East team. Anderson County goes on the road and just absolutely destroys Science Hill. Maryville beat Powell last night 38-13. Knox Catholic, I don't know what the deal is with their schedule, but their first 2 weeks is they must have to pay those 2 teams to come play them. That's a pretty brutal start. South Green and Chucky Doak. Interesting way to start the season. Morristown East gets a big win. A local guy that a lot of our viewers know, Caleb Slover. Coach Slover goes to Halls tonight and gets a 34-28 win. That's a big win for his program. Last year they struggled some. This year gets a big win over at Halls. Halls starts off the season 0-2. Kingston continues their Roane County dominance over Oliver Springs 38-6. and Central tonight beats Fulton. I think the final was 41-20 or something like that. I lost don't remember exactly what the final was. But a lot of good high school football tonight. Next week's when it really amps up. You start some region play. You start figuring out, who's good and who's not. Just to put it very bluntly, who's good and who's not. The pretenders from the contender type deal. A game next week we'll be looking forward to here. Obviously, is Clinton Oak Ridge. But the game I'm interested in that I know is going to be a big game is the Carnes-Powell game. You got the 5A defending state champs at 0-2. And you got a Carnes team that's 2-0 and look very dominant in both of those wins over William Blount and Hardin Valley. Now keep in mind William Blount and Hardin Valley are both winless, but I'm excited to see what Bishop has and to see what Powell has. It could be the first 1 to 50 wins. So that'll be an interesting thing to look at next week. But obviously the Clinton Oak Ridge game will be our OEB game of the week, and will be a very interesting game to see how it unfolds. If anybody's got any updates from the Oak Ridge game, we would love to hear from you. Our Oak Ridge homer must not be available right now. He's probably licking it. He probably didn't even go to the game. Probably stayed at home and didn't want to spend his money going to West Knoxville. That way he could just sit back and relax. So we want to thank the Free Medical Clinic. Go visit their website at fmcor.org. We have our 2 guests that are going to be here just walk in, so we're going to jump out for our second commercial break here shortly, and we will be back with the Free Medical Clinic Friday night scoreboard right after we pay some bills.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
There's a lot of talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, but the reality is, it's safer than being tackled by a Tennessee Titan. Give it a shot. Find a free vaccine appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Hi, I'm Holly Warlick, and I'm here with Kathy Mae Martin. Whether you're buying or selling real estate, rest assured, if you go with Kathy, you'll be with the winning team. Kathy ranks in the top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide. Her commitment to excellence and her nearly 30 years of knowledge and experience is sure to give you the competitive edge.
Let me and my team assist you with all your real estate goals.
Beautiful yards make a statement, and beautiful yards come from Simplicity Mowers. Their exclusive free-floating mower decks with full-width rollers track the contours of your yard for a perfect cut. So visit your neighborhood Simplicity dealer today and start the conversation about your lawn. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
And let us turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
You got a pain in your neck? Just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Scoreboard, sponsored by the Free Medical Clinic. Go join their website and visit them at fmcor.org. I'd like to welcome in our two special guests. It takes two people to replace David. So I've got Coach Rob Black with me. So he's wanting something to do on Friday night, I guess, tonight, so he come and hung out with us. Yeah. And I got Coach Jody Wright. Kim must be out of town.
Yeah.
So we got both these guys with us. We're going to go right back to the lines. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, do you have the final score of Union County and Claiborne County?
I do not have a final of the Union County, Claiborne County game. We will work in the back to get that to you. I've not got to see that pop up on our screen just yet.
Okay,
Who won? Hold on, ma'am. We got your score. Claiborne won 30-12 over Union County. 38-12.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, guys, you all obviously coming back from the Fulton Central game. What went on over there tonight?
Well, Fulton started pretty strong tonight, and I think opening possession took it down and scored pretty quick. And bottom line is they were gassed at the end, turned it over 5 times, and it's hard to beat anybody when you turn it over 5 times.
Absolutely. What was the atmosphere like over there tonight at Central? Was it crowded? Was it packed?
Good little atmosphere. I told Rob we were walking out, and this is just me, but here recently, Central's won a couple state championships, but still, that place does not carry the electricity it did back in the Joel Helton days, Todd Helton days, early 90s. That place was electric. Again. So you think about Fountain City in those days, and everything revolved, really heavily around football, even as good as their baseball team was, who won a state championship then. But it was Friday nights in Fountain City in those days was pretty pretty pumped. It was a pretty special place.
So do you think we got asked this question last week, and I'll let both y'all speak on this. Rob, I'll let you start. Does the 7 o'clock thing change anything from a coach's standpoint of getting kids out of school, getting them fed, getting to the game? How does that play a role from the coach's side?
I don't think it changes a whole lot. Honestly, for me, it was better. At first, I didn't think I was going to like it. When I played, it was 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then they started moving to 7:30, and when they started throwing that 7 o'clock stuff at us, I was like, that's too early. But the more we did it, that was less time that my guys had to just sit around and wait. It puts a little pressure on you when you're on the road, and especially if you have to travel any distance at all. But if you don't have to go very far, for me now, just looking at it, there's not as much sitting around and waiting. That 30 minutes, means a lot, and it was good for us.
Which the playoff game starts at 7 anyway.
Yeah, playoff games have been at 7 for a long time. So if you've played in the playoffs before, you're kind of used to that. So I kind of thought that maybe the 7 o'clock, it's still bright, maybe still a little hot, sun beating on you. If you don't have a whole lot of depth, it might affect you, but I really didn't see much of a difference.
So what about from the other side of things? Do you think it affects the gate? Does it affect officials being able to get there? Is there any challenges on that side of it?
So that was the biggest question, could crews get there? Those guys work. That was a little bit of pushback that we heard from officiating, from supervisors. These guys get off, they work till 5. They want them there so much time before the ball game. But you look at a high school game now. A high school ball game, it's a 3-hour game. With the way people sling the ball all over the lot, with injuries and all these things right there, it's just I know media loves it because they are able to meet their deadlines, but it just I think when the game changed and games started going to be a standard high school game, 2.5, 3 hours, it made sense to move it up. So, from an administrative standpoint, I was all about it.
So is it left up to the school right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I know Anderson County still goes at 7:30.
Yeah.
There's some other schools I know go at 7:30. Mm-hmm. So did Knox County set that rule of 7 o'clock, or was that by school?
No, I think it was just all of us athletic directors. We got together and again looked at it from an administrative standpoint. What was better for the schools, all those things, and it needed to be something that we didn't do where Powell was going at 7, but Carter was going at 7:30, and Bearden was going here, and Fulton was going there. So I think we all decided that whatever we did, we needed to all be alike, and that way it was so much more easier for your fans and people in Knoxville that ball games in Knoxville were going to start at 7 o'clock. So that's kind of how that went, and I think everybody, we decided let's look at it, and I don't know that anybody would want to go back to 7:30 now.
I know my guys, you can ask any of them, they love 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I couldn't imagine it starting at 8 and them being up till 3 or 4 in the morning posting stuff. Yeah. So I know 7 o'clock is a big thing there. Was the heat ever brought up at all, the heat index? We've not dealt with that much the last couple of years, have we?
We really haven't. I can't remember a time where we had a game or practice or whatever suspended for a heat index. And again, that was a concern for me when the games were going to start at 7 is, are we going to run into that? Were you going to get in a situation where we have to push a game back or so forth? And it never happened. We're playing on turf and the sun's out and everything else. So it never did really affect us.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but you hear a lot of guys, like our radio guy last week. He said, "Man, I hate this. It's hard to get here. It's hard to get set up. It's hard to get my normal job in. But it's just one of those things." Guys, as y'all come in, I know you probably heard some scores. Anything catch your all's attention tonight? Oak Ridge Bearden.
That surprised me. I thought Oak Ridge would win. I think a couple scores. I think just the margin of the Anderson County Science Hill game. Anderson County must have played really, really well up there. That score was a surprise to me. And again, I thought Oak Ridge, again, new head coach, they're still probably working some kinks out. But Bearden had a new head coach too. So I thought Oak Ridge would probably get that one. Again, just I think you saw a little bit of the Webb's, athletic display. You know, I don't. Dave Meske is not a guy that just has historically just put up volumes of points, but he's got some playmakers out there at Webb, and I think Gibbs is time will prove they're probably a pretty solid team, but they were really outmatched tonight.
Yeah, I think after watching Oak Ridge a couple times, getting to see them in the Jamboree and see them at Fulton, I thought they were a pretty physical football team. Kind of surprised me that they weren't able to run the ball and you know, establish an offense tonight.
Well, I agree with that, and on top of that, you know, some athletes. I mean, they got some athletes. I mean, you know, really good receiver, exceptional running backs, a couple of them, and then a defensive back, and so got some guys with athletic ability, and so that one surprised me. I'll back up Coach Wright on the Anderson County deal. I mean, Science Hill coming off of a huge win last week against Elizabethton, and then turn around, Anderson County goes up there, and not surprised that they won, just surprised at the margin.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year they jumped out on them big and ended up losing. I think they ended up getting up 20 points in that game and ended up losing late. But I'll tell you something that surprised me tonight. Our game of the week was the West versus Ferry game, and that game looked like it was going to be somewhat of a football game, and then it got, you know, it kind of got out of hand there late. I think Farragut scored one to even make it 40-21. And I know West handled Anderson County pretty good in the scrimmage. Is it possible West might be one of the best teams in 5A around here?
Well, I've been hearing great things about their defense, and you know, a lot of coaches talking about them in the preseason and what they have coming back defensively and their talent level, and then, you know, offensively, that was, you know, if you look at West a few years ago, they had a hard time scoring on anybody, but their defense was pretty good, and I think they've got some weapons. They got a really good running back, and of course Carson Jesse's back at quarterback again, and they got a few receivers out there, so they have some offense too. So I mean, they may be somebody to have to deal with late in the year.
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier as y'all were coming in that that Carnes Powell game next week is going to be an interesting game. Let's take another caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Coach Gillum.
Hey, Coach Gillum. How you doing, buddy?
All right. How are you?
I'm good. I've got two guys here beside me tonight. I know you can't see us. I got Coach Rob Black and Jody Wright. We were just talking about your impressive win on the road tonight.
Yeah, the boys played real well tonight. It was a lot more lopsided than I expected, but we played well on both sides. Walker was on, the receivers played big, and O-line was good. The defense was lights out. A whole different direction than how I expected it to go.
Coach, did you go up there and play that game tonight without Gavin No?
Yeah, Gavin didn't play, and we had one of our starting linemen out. It was probably our best DL, and a couple banged up. So we weren't full staff, but Nick Moog ran the ball great, played real well. But, you know, we probably hurt not having Gavin on D more than O. You know, we got a lot of weapons to work around on O. And really, they like to play 7 mirrors in near the box the whole time, and kind of they're aggressive on defense and dare you to push the ball down the field. We took their dare quite a bit and made a pay on it. So, we probably wouldn't have been run heavy even if Gavin was in there, just the nature of the way they were playing.
Coach, can you still hear us?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I thought I lost you for a second. So, you know, last year I know you got a big lead in the game, and then all of a sudden they came back. Tonight you get a big lead and you go into a lightning delay. Well, tell us a little bit about how you handle that, and, you know, what your message was to the team to make sure y'all stayed focused and not let that happen again.
You know, a few things. One, a lot of people don't realize that last year when we were up 21 is actually when Walker got hurt. He took a big hit. Up 21, us going in to score to go up 28, we missed a lifting backer, hit him right in the sternum. And when he fell on his wrist, hurt his wrist. His sternum was hurting so bad we didn't even know his wrist was hurting. He played 2 more weeks like that before we found out how bad it was. but he was really never the same that night. We didn't know he was hurt, and we didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to help him out call-wise, take pressure off of him or give him quick games, And so that had a lot to do with our inefficiency on offense last year after the first quarter. But that was the message during the Lightning delay. Hey, we've been here before. It definitely had a different feel to it. We were controlling the game on both sides of the ball, and they're very run heavy right now. So we were defensively, we were able to control the box solidly from the get-go. So it wasn't a feel where you're afraid of lightning striking any play like the Powell game or something like that. They were going to have to do something totally different to push the ball down the field. So we felt pretty good about a 21-point lead, but at the same time we're talking to them about finishing, trying to improve on the things we got to improve on. We still hadn't offensively taken control of the box the way we wanted to get in the run game. So that was really what we talked about. And then we had some pretty good clips from our huddle sideline thing that we could sit and talk to Walker about, show the OL and things to clean up a little bit schematically. So, you hate to kill 30-something minutes there in the middle of the game, but we were able to use the time, to help out for the rest of the game.
I'll play next week.
What's that?
That's Fulton. Y'all play Fulton next week. I couldn't remember who you play, but yeah, these boys reminded me real quick. You play Fulton next week over on Broadway. I'd say everything will be good. Just don't bring Richie with you. Don't bring the nonsense.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one. Marmar, he's probably the elusive kid as I've seen since Rogan played for Coach Black there. He's a special kid. That running back's pretty solid too. So.
Be a fun one. Well, Coach, hey, we'll let you get back home, and we appreciate you calling in, and good luck as the season rolls on.
Thank you.
Sir. Hey, Robbie, talk a little bit about Marmar. He mentioned Dennis Rogan. I know you can't hear him. He said Marcellus might be as elusive as he's got to watch since Dennis Rogan at Fulton. Marmar's what, 5'8", 5'7"?
Yeah, 5'8", 150 maybe. Yeah,
So-
150 on a good day if he's wet.
Yeah. And,
He's had lunch.
yeah, so, just almost impossible at times to bring down.
Well, he's athletic. He runs well. He's quick. He's got a good first step. He jumps well. All of that stuff. But I think the biggest thing people got to understand is what a competitor he is. He hates to lose more than he loves to win. And I think he just gives you so much energy, and on top of all of that, he's a guy, and I said this last year when we moved him to quarterback, he gets to touch the ball every play. And so for the guys on the other side of the field over there, that's not what they want to see, and he's really worked hard to kind of polish himself as a quarterback and still has a ways to go. He's an athlete back there playing the position right now, and and that's not what he's going to play later on in his future in college football. But what an athlete and what a guy to put the ball in his hands every play.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, we're going to go to the lines here. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, is this Jonathan Cox?
What's up, Coach Freeman?
Hey, I am headed through the Cherokee National Forest on my way to Wake Forest, watch a little volleyball, buddy.
You didn't stop by the Virginian?
No, but from what I hear, the rough's pretty thick right now at the Virginian, and I'll be waiting until later fall to get on that course again.
Yeah. From the best I could tell, that'd probably be a good idea. Does Leah play volleyball tomorrow in Wake Forest?
Yeah, she got North Carolina Central in the morning, then Wake Forest in the evening.
Hey, Davey talked a little bit about the win. Tell us who played well tonight for the Mavs.
I'm sure he's talked about Martinez and Miller, but it probably wouldn't hurt to reiterate how well they played. They were doubling and tripling Val all night, which obviously left Miller on that other side wide open, and I gave him a little bit of a hard time. He really should have had 5. He dropped a 5th touchdown pass there. I think it was maybe early 3rd or late 2nd, but Martinez was on the money tonight. Obviously, you got some push up front where you line. Moog ran the ball hard, and when they tried to stop the run, Coach Gillum and his guys were picking them apart. I mean, most of the balls that he was throwing, Martinez was throwing, our guys were wide open. It was pretty impressive what they were able to do. And then the defense obviously played lights out.
This is Jody Wright here. My biggest question is who won at golf today?
Jason Chambers. Ben Downs and I took a loss today.
That's a tough way to go, isn't it?
It is.
You definitely look better out there than they did, though. I can guarantee that.
Well, I promise you my outfit was better than either one of theirs.
How was the pregame meal spot?
Pregame meal spot, Coach, was in the RV of Joe and Bonnie Freeman tonight.
Okay, I like it.
Science Hill High School.
RV heading to Wake Forest.
It is making its inaugural trip to Wake Forest to catch that volleyball. So this is a first time for us here.
Oh, what's about to hit them?
Yeah. No, Davey and his guys, and I say this all the time, all jokes aside, Davey and his coaching staff do such a tremendous job. We have a tremendous amount of kids going both ways. We're giving those skill guys some breaks, but he's got 4 or 5 linemen and then some linebackers they're really not coming off the field much. And I really was concerned about that against Powell last week, and they just kind of grinded it out. And then the same deal tonight. His guys up front are getting it done, and they kind of stonewalled Science Hill there. And we got a turnover early, and they were kind of swarmed, and I think really quick. And they wasn't real sure what had hit them.
Absolutely. Well, safe travels to Wake Forest. We're going to bounce off here. We're going to take a commercial break. Thanks for calling and giving us, filling us in on the win tonight. The boys at 2509 are ready to welcome you next week to Fulton.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys then.
All right. Have a good night.
See
you. David and I were talking earlier when he called in, and I say this all sincerity. We look back, that last week win against Powell might have been one of the best wins they've had as a program in, some time, since maybe just winning a game they weren't supposed to win.
Maybe you go back to that, I don't know what year it was, but the year they go down to Cleveland and win in the quarterfinals.
I think that was Tanner Williams' year. They went to Cleveland and won the quarterfinals. But we talked a little bit about that. We're going to take a break here on the Free Medical Clinic Friday night call-in show. A lot of good football games being played tonight. A lot going on next week. We have Clinton and Oak Ridge. We're still waiting from someone to Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge callers don't seem to call when they lose. They like calling when they win. So we might not hear from them tonight. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
call your agent with a simple question, only to get sent to voicemail again. We pick up the phone. Did you get this? Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you? Like I said, we pick up the phone because it's ringing. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Hello, this is Sam.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
On-site care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-site care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, on-site care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-site care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Hi, I'm Holly Warlick, and I'm here with Kathy Mae Martin. Whether you're buying or selling real estate, rest assured, if you go with Kathy, you'll be with the winning team. Kathy ranks in the top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide. Her commitment to excellence and her nearly 30 years of knowledge and experience is sure to give you the competitive edge.
Let me and my team assist you with all your real estate goals.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roane State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Welcome back to the Free Medical Clinic Friday Night Scoreboard Show. The Free Medical Clinic has served over 14,000 people in Anderson, Morgan, and Roane counties. The mission of the Free Medical Clinic is to provide no-charge primary care for low-income and uninsured residents of Anderson, Morgan, and Roane County. Go to fmcor.org for more information. Guys, we'll talk. We're going to take a few more minutes into high school football, and then we'll go into UT. UT plays on Thursday night this week. We usually talk about that on Friday, but with the Thursday night start, we'll get into that a little bit, and we'll get some score predictions and maybe get a few callers here on the scoreboard. A lot of our teams were out of the area tonight. Clinton traveled to Austin East. Oak Ridge traveled to Bearden. Anderson County went to Science Hill. So a lot of our people are still traveling home from the Anderson County area. Obviously, the Roane County teams all stayed pretty close, but some of our teams are still traveling. Next week, Carnes Powell. Is there a better player in town right now than Bishop? Is there?
I'll tell you, he is. He's elusive. You know, he's a guy that, you know, got a lot of attention early on, and he's done nothing but got bigger and stronger looking. And I saw him not too long ago and ran into him and talked to him, and what a good looking kid. But he has, you know, he's proven himself. I mean, and you know, what's impressive about him is, and this is not to say that Carnes doesn't have any other players, but I mean, they rely on him so heavily, and you know, and teams know he's going to get it, and he still makes plays, and he makes Carnes go.
It's going to be interesting to see how, you know, the dynamics of that game. I think it's going to be a lot like maybe the Clinton Oak Ridge game. I think you wonder about, you know, when's the last time Carnes has beat Powell? You know, Powell's 0-2 and kind of licking their wounds a little bit. And Carnes, I think, did Carnes win tonight?
Carnes did win tonight. They've won 2 big games, but they beat William Blount and Heritage, who are both 0-2.
Yeah, so not very, very good teams. But you know, when it comes down to it, is Carnes able to get over that mental hump, that stumbling block, you know? As we've always said, one team comes in the game expecting to win, one team comes in hoping to win. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting game. Interesting to see how Powell comes back from 2 games of just getting, you know, really whipped physically. So that should be a very good game.
And I'll say this about that. I mean, when you take high school kids who are, you know, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and I mean, Powell hadn't faced a whole lot of adversity lately, you know, and they're coming off of a state championship where they kind of won going away, and all of a sudden they're 0-2 now, and so how do they respond? I mean, do they face adversity in the eye, or do they turn their head, you know? And that'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works out.
Absolutely. So, you know, with winning a state championship in football before, knowing what the expectations were for Powell with the returning players they have, how hard is it to get their attention going into fall camp and going into the first week of the season? And is there added pressure to repeat, knowing you've got a lot of your studs back?
You know, I think any pressure that you have is, you know, you kind of put that on yourself, you know, but I think when you look at the really good teams that handle that pressure and handle the fact that there's huge expectation, the teams that have really good leadership, I'm talking about player leadership, are the ones that are able to overcome that hump, you know, and if you don't have great leadership, it's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember from 2008 to 2009, Jody started the season off by saying, guys, we don't have any pressure on us. We lost most of our team. And, of course, returning Jalen Steele and James Gauman. That would be the leadership that you're speaking of in that situation. But, you know, you not only you have, you know, the schedule they had to start the season, you've got their, you know, you're defending a state title, but then you lose, you know, your quarterback. And that's got to be tough. But I can guarantee there's nobody feeling sorry for them.
No,
so,
no, there's not.
Yeah, there's nobody feeling sorry for them. And moving forward, talking a little bit just about high school football in general. We had some callers last week talking about the sizes of teams that they see out there. Do you all see participation down in all sports and in football across Knox County, or what's the story there?
You know, I think a lot of that is just, you know, I'd say at West, they're probably dressing out all they can get a uniform on. I'd say probably it's the same thing probably at Farragut. Both those have pretty good schools, but too, you know, kids, they're in for the flavor of the month. You know, and there was a time, you know, that we were you know, we had 110 kids on our roster at one time, you know, 15 years ago when we were rocking and rolling, and I think you could say the same. I can remember when Oak Ridge would walk 100 down those steps. So, you know, I think you're seeing it some at Clinton right now. A couple years ago, you know, they were probably dressing out 30, 35, 38 kids. They're winning now, a little bit of a mindset. It's cool to play football at Clinton now. And so a lot of that goes back to that factor. You see it up in Anderson County, really good numbers. So I do think that is not as strong as it used to be. But two, when there's a lot of excitement in the school about that particular program, everybody wants to be a part of it.
What's the most you ever dressed on a Friday night? 95, 99 kids?
Yeah, so, for us, and this was the cool part, he talked about the 110. We had 111 kids on our roster at one time, and so we always said we were going to dress 75 was our max. That's all we were going to dress, and we felt like if you dress more than that, there's just not enough room. So, if you look in the NFL, they dress 53. So 75 was it. So one of the coolest things we did was, when we had that 111, is everybody wanted to say, did I make the dress list this week? And so on Thursdays, we posted a dress list on our locker room wall, and kids would be coming to school at 7:30 in the morning just to look at that list and see, am I dressing this week? Because if they were dressing, they would come to walkthrough on Thursdays, and if they weren't, they went home after school. So all of those young guys, freshmen and sophomores, were coming to look and see, if they made the dress list for the week. And so we use different things like, guys that give us a good look in practice on a scout team, guys that just give great effort, guys that have great attitudes or whatever. So, one week you might be on it and one week you might not, but competition is good. And I think that when you have numbers like that, it drives people to want to, be one of those 75 that got to wear a uniform on Friday night.
Absolutely. And then we got to ask this question, and I think it tends to hurt some of the competition level, but it says, how much are the private schools affecting numbers and the level that we see on a consistent basis in the public school? The private school has to hurt the public school to some degree.
Oh, you look and you see, the players in East Knoxville and North Knoxville that are playing in West Knoxville, and they're not playing at Farragut, Bearden, and West.
Well, Bearden maybe.
They're playing at Bearden some now, but historically we're playing particularly at Catholic.
Yeah.
Who for years has done a pretty good job, and now you're seeing more of those kids at Webb, and so it has affected, and I think that's one of the key reasons. To be honest with you, everybody wants to know what's going on at Austin East. Well, all their kids are leaving. Yeah. Their kids are playing everywhere else. Their kids are playing at Webb and Catholic right now, and of course now even more so at Bearden.
So the dynamics is it Shavir Young? Is that his name?
Shavar
Young. Yeah.
That's probably a prime example. I don't know where he's zoned to play, but that's a prime example just of a talented FBS 5-star probably before he graduates kid not being enrolled at a public school and taking the talent out of a game that he might have been at West or Bearden or wherever he's zoned for. You take a kid like that off the field, it changes the dynamics of a football game. And I think that's why you see the scores that you see right now of Webb beating up on a Gibbs like they did, and last week a Carter. If you're Gibbs or Carter, what do you gain by scheduling them?
Yeah, well, if you look at a Webb years ago, and Coach was talking about it earlier, they were a wing T team that played with wing T kids, and they've got kids that are not wing T players anymore, and so they made a switch and are doing a lot of wide open, sexy offense kind of stuff right now, and they're using those athletes that they have now, so and they're getting them, and you're going to start seeing those numbers. Years ago, Webb wouldn't have scored 40-something points, and now they are.
Absolutely. Let's go to the lines here.
Good, caller, you on the air?
Hey guys, it's Jesse Smithy. How are y'all?
We're good, Jesse. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Hey, Jesse, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I got you. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I've got two special guests here tonight. David's got the vid. So I've got Rob Black and Jody Wright with me here on set. Would you like to say anything to them real quick?
Well, it's an honor to be on the line with three Fulton legends out there, and so I might just defer to them on all your questions.
There you go. Rob can't hear you, so if you need to ask him something, I can relay the message. We'll try to get it over to him. Hey, take us through the night in high school football and talk a little bit about the game that you attended, and let us know what went on in our area.
Well, I mean, the game that I attended tonight was West High School versus Farragut High School, and a game that was 7-6 at the half and looked like it was going to be a defensive four-quarter game just turned into an absolute rout behind a really strong West running game. Braden Latham, a senior running back, rushed for 172 yards in just the third quarter alone, and everything that he did basically came between the tackles. And so the interior run game for West just absolutely manhandled Farragut in the third quarter, and by the end of the night he had 251 yards rushing and also played a lot on defense as well. So that was, I think, a big statement win for West. They did not play well in a week one win at Bearden. A lot of penalties, a lot of squandered opportunities, and you just didn't see that at a West High School tonight. But looking around the area, I thought there were some surprising results. I thought the Bearden win over Oak Ridge was one that I did not expect, and then I come to learn that Brendan Hayward did not play for Oak Ridge. So maybe you guys know why he didn't play, but I have not been able to find an answer yet.
He was ejected the week before for 2 unsportsmanlike penalties.
And that's a little surprising to me. I mean, Brandon Hayward's a good kid. I've heard nothing but good things about him and how much of a leader he is. So that's a learning situation for him. He's just a junior, one of the most talented 2024 players in the state. And I think his absence tonight likely cost them a football game. Now, is that going to keep them from making the playoffs? Probably not. But nevertheless, it's just one of those teaching moments that I'm sure Jody Wright or Rob Black can attest to.
Yeah, those are sometimes those kids have to learn tough lessons, and unfortunately, there's consequences for actions. Football it's a violent game, and people hit on each other, and kids do things in the spur of the moment, and they can often have consequences that really impact your team down the road. And yeah, that's definitely, you take a playmaker like that off the field for Oak Ridge, that's really going to impact their offensive output.
Yeah, they weren't able to get much going in the pass game tonight. I know they ran the ball effectively from the stats that I saw with Jai Hundley and Dozier a little bit, but that's still a game that I think they're probably going to kick themselves for not having won. I think they had a chance late in the fourth quarter to get it done and just weren't able to. So, again, they'll have to bounce back and get Brandon Hayward back in the fold and make sure that he's the leader that he has been all offseason.
So just, did you say the running back from West had 171 yards in the third quarter?
No, that's just what Braden Latham did.
That one running back had 171 in the third?
Yeah, it was a 7-6 game at halftime. Very first play of the third quarter, he breaks a few tackles and then rips it up for an 80-yard touchdown run. Next possession, I think he has a 34 or 37-yard touchdown run and then added a short yardage touchdown run later on. I would say, Jody, they probably ran for over 200 yards in that third quarter, and it was just a textbook, just butt kicking there in the third quarter about just how things can get done in the trenches. And West returned 4 offensive linemen up front, so they were expected to have a good run game coming into this year, and they put that on display Friday night.
Hey, Jesse, were you surprised of the Sevier County Carter score tonight?
Yeah, very much so. I don't know how. I have to go look and see kind of what happened in the play-by-play, but Carter had a receiver go for 288 yards tonight. I don't know how you can have a receiver go for 288 and you only score 14 points and you lose in overtime. There had to be just a number of turnovers or mistakes or penalties that negated what that young man did, but that was really perplexing to me when I saw that Caleb Harper, a senior at Carter, had 16 catches for 288 and 2 touchdowns, and they lost 20-14 to Sevier County.
It's hard to believe he had 288 yards receiving and they only scored twice in regulation.
Exactly. I mean, there had to be some turnovers or some kind of holding penalties that brought some stuff back. Again, I'll have to look at the box score, but Carter was supposed to have won that game tonight, but I still haven't seen their running back, Hassan Al-Sultani, in the game yet this year. He didn't play last week at Webb. He had an ankle injury. He was supposed to be back tonight. He was not in their statistic report that they sent us, so maybe that's the cause for their slow start. But nevertheless, that was a game that I thought they should have won, and they did not. They lost in overtime to Sevier County, who is 2-0, by the way, by a total of 7 points. They had a 7-6 win in week 1, and now a 20-14 win over Carter.
So next week, we've talked a little bit about 2 games in our area. We've talked about Clinton and Oak Ridge, and we've talked about the Powell-Carnes game. It's probably been a while since Carnes has beat Powell. What's your first take on that game?
Well, I think back to what I saw last night with Jordan Potts, the quarterback at Powell, dressing out for that game. I don't think he went through pregame warm-ups, but I did see him throwing the football with his shoulder pads on and everything between the first and second half. So those region games are what's very critical for Powell's playoff seeding, obviously. So it's not going to surprise me to see him play in that football game whatsoever. They cannot score right now without him. Watching them play offense is a little bit painful right now, and I'm not trying to take a shot at their backup quarterback, Dylan Tewksbury. He's a young sophomore that just not ready to deliver the ball down the field vertically to those receivers that they have. And so they've also got a running back or two that is dinged up. And so even with Jordan Potts coming back, watching him play as a guarding an injury is a much different version of him than we're used to seeing. And I don't know how comfortable he will be playing that way. He likes to scramble, likes to improvise out of the pocket, whether it's with his legs or with his arms. And if he's playing to protect himself, that's not the normal Jordan Potts we're used to seeing. So how effective will he be at 60-70% of his normal array of skills? So that's just another thing to keep an eye on. But Powell has not been able to stop the run much this year, and of course that's what Carnes does with Deshaun Bishop.
Jesse, did Redmond play the second half last night in the Powell-Maryville game?
You know, if he did, he didn't do much. I think he only had 2 catches all night long, maybe for just a handful of yards. It wasn't much. Aiden Green was really effective in the second half for Powell. I think he had 116 yards receiving and had a touchdown there in the second half. Kind of garbage time there, but yeah, it's just I don't remember Darius Redmond being a factor there in the second half for Powell last night.
Speaking of injuries, we talked to Davey earlier tonight, and he said that Gavin No did not play up there in Science Hill, and that score kind of caught us off guard. We weren't expecting that to be such a lopsided win for the Mavs.
I didn't like what I saw out of Science Hill at our Jamboree. I don't know if they were sitting some key players or whatever, but I didn't feel like they had a very potent offense, and so I thought Anderson County could probably win that game and not have to extend Gavin No in the backfield to do it. So with Nick Moog being able to run the ball like he has the last couple of weeks, it's been a good opportunity for AC to rest Gavin No and make sure that he's there for the long haul and not for these non-region games that don't have much bearing on the outlook of their season. So they have enough weapons offensively that they don't have to possibly injure him or re-aggravate that hamstring that he's battling. But yeah, that was a nice win for AC. You know, to go ahead and put another feather in their cap and really start to turn to the meat of their schedule. But speaking of teams in that area, I mean, we're getting word about Oak Ridge. We need to check on Elijah Rogers. Anybody heard anything about Elijah Rogers? Of course, he had 3 interceptions last week for Oak Ridge, and I don't think he played the second half tonight, so we'll have to check up on him on injury-wise.
Hey, Brad, have we heard anything about Elijah Rogers? We have not. We'll tell. Okay. Maybe even check with Coach Gaddis. I'm sure he was there.
Yeah, I just got a text message saying that we need to follow up on that. So it seems like he might have left the game tonight injured. And you're talking about 2 college football guys not on your team or not on the field tonight for Oak Ridge. So it's starting to kind of make sense why they were not able to close out that game tonight against Beard.
Absolutely. And if he doesn't play next week, I mean that's big in the Clinton Oak Ridge rivalry that will take place at Blankenship on Friday night.
Absolutely, and this Clinton team is, legit. They got some dudes out there on defense that can harass Oak Ridge's quarterback, and if Oak Ridge doesn't have 2 primetime receivers to throw to, it can get hairy in a hurry for Oak Ridge. So Clinton probably believes more than any time before that they can beat Oak Ridge, at least in the last 10 years or so. And now it's shaping up to be where they might be favored in that game.
Jesse, can you hear me? It's kind of cutting out right there.
Yeah, you got you.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about, I know we were talking about this a little earlier, but I want to hear your take on Deshaun Bishop and what he's been able to do over the past few years and kind of compare him and the running back from Maryville, Noah Vaughn. Those are 2 guys in our area that I think are tremendous. And, where do you see them being alike or different?
You guys got me?
Yes, did you hear him?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Noah Vaughn is a guy that's about 5'9" and 185, 190 pounds. That's a little bit different build than Deshaun Bishop and a much different running style. Noah is somebody you can also utilize in the pass game as a slot guy. I think there for a while it looked like he was just going to be one of those 5'9", 170 scat back guys, but he really took to the weight room between his sophomore and junior years and bulked up, and he was able to maintain that speed and agility that he had, though he gained 20 pounds and got up to about 185, 190. And so when you watch him play, he can run the ball through the tackles, he can bump it outside and do things with his agility and his vision. And it's just a little bit faster than Deshaun Bishop, whereas Deshaun Bishop is one of those kind of patient runners, I always say. He can keep his hand on the back of an offensive lineman and wait for something to pop open, or he can also kind of be a little bit shifty on you and make a guy miss and get into that second level and see what goes from there. So obviously Deshaun has many more carries in his career than Noah Vaughn does. That's just, I think, out of necessity for Carnes' offense, but it seems like they're using him a little bit less this year, and I think that's smart. They need to develop other guys around him. They can't just be the Deshaun Bishop show. They got 2 or 3 guys out on the perimeter that can be really serviceable wide receivers, and they need to develop that in the early parts of the season so that come these region games, it won't just be Deshaun Bishop.
Jesse, we just got a report that Rogers was hurt tonight. He has an upper body injury, and he'll be checked out obviously tomorrow, but he was injured.
We were hearing it might be a collarbone or something like that, so that'll be something we have to follow up on this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, real quick, Rob wants to ask you, because he wants me to, who you taking, Bishop or Rogan?
Oh, wow.
No, wow's not an answer.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get that question tonight, so I'm thinking there.
Hey, we'll let you think on that, maybe answer next week.
Well, I will say this. I feel like Bishop's body is more prepared to play running back in the SEC, whereas, I think Rogan found a spot as a defensive back and kick returner at Tennessee. So I'll say from a pure standpoint of projectable running backs, I guess I'll go with Bishop. But, man, Dennis Rogan and that offensive line at Fulton were awfully good.
You're about to get hung up on. All right, Jesse, have a good night, man. I know you got a lot to do, and if we find anything else about Rogers, we'll send you a text and let you know.
Perfect, guys. Appreciate it. Good talking to you all.
All right, thank you, man. We are going to hop out and take a quick commercial break on the free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard show. Please visit fmcor.org to check out the multiple facilities and areas that they cover with the free medical clinic. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference, so we can all continue to move forward together.
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Hi, I'm Holly Warlick, and I'm here with Kathy Mae Martin. Whether you're buying or selling real estate, rest assured, if you go with Kathy, you'll be with the winning team. Kathy ranks in the top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide. Her commitment to excellence and her nearly 30 years of knowledge and experience is sure to give you the competitive edge.
Let me and my team assist you with all your real estate goals.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Football is back, and OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits, perfect plays, and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense and tackle any obstacles blocking you from scoring the full and fair settlement. Call OEB Law 865-546-1111 and turn your wreck into a check.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Welcome back to the free medical clinic Friday night scoreboard. If you didn't tune in earlier because you're just getting in, we don't have Mr. Queener here tonight, but we've got Coach Jody Wright and Coach Rob Black.
2 members of Mount Rushmore coaching.
That's right. And they traveled over after the Central game. And obviously Fulton plays Anderson County next week. Is everyone's first region game pretty much? No one played region this week. Is that correct?
Yeah,
week 3 is usually
pretty much everybody starts in week 3. Yeah.
So Anderson County plays Fulton. South Doyle's in that region as well. Watch them play tonight.
Yeah.
They definitely are not as good as they were last year. But I think, do you know if the Gary has a younger brother? They kept calling a Gary name tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me. You know.
They kept calling a Gary name tonight. He was quick, he was elusive, but he was nowhere near as big. So I went and watched Grace play Southall tonight. But, I think that region there, if you would, is probably Anderson counties to lose. But that second and third seed is wide open to see what unfolds with that region. Another big region game next week is Clinton at Oak Ridge. From my understanding, Oak Ridge has some people banged up. Clinton, as Coach Key said earlier, we ain't scared. So they're ready to get it on. I think he was ready to drive down to Blankenship tonight if he could. So that's going to be an interesting game. Like we've talked, the PAL. So next week it really kicks off the region week. How many region games do most teams play now with 6 classifications?
5 or 6, depending on the size. But that's probably, there may be some regions that play 7 games, but I would say probably the norm would be 5 or 6. Rob, would you?
Yeah, I think so. We've got 6 teams in our region, and so 5 region games, 5 non-region, and that's pretty par for the course.
So the way the schedule's set up now, there's not a week 0. Is that correct?
Right, it's 1 through 11 now.
1 through 11. And everybody gets a bye.
Everybody gets a bye week, yeah.
Okay, I got you. Because I know sometimes it seems like right around fall break, we don't have as many games in our area, and I'm sure that's, planned on purpose.
Yeah, and that's by design. Everybody's trying to work it to where that fall break is the week that you get your bye, and didn't work out for us, but the lucky ones get that one, and hopefully we will one day.
So when you go in to set a schedule for football, do you go in and set your region schedule first and pick what weeks the regions are played, and then you start finding games? Is that how that works?
Well, the state picks your region weeks,
okay.
And then so generally if there's 6 teams in your region, you pass out numbers and everybody draws a number, and if I drew number 1, my schedule's already made, so number 1 plays 2 on week 3, 1 plays 3 on week 4, and so forth down through there, and everybody's so it's really kind of made for you. Just depends on what number you draw.
Okay.
Now, going forward next year, due to officiating shortage, so the board voted to give the state, so the state will set your region schedule for you to ensure that all region games are played on Friday, because this year everybody had to move a game to Thursday, and if you didn't, they moved the game to Thursday because of officiating shortage. So they came to us and said that if you'll let us do everybody's region schedule, we can ensure that everybody's region games are on Friday. So now moving forward next year, the state will give a school their region schedule and say these are the weeks you're playing. So it may not be the standard, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 10 or whatever. It may be that there's region games, week 1, and there's the region format will look quite different next year, but they have assured us that all the region football games would be on Friday. So you may play a Thursday night non-region game.
So who's your Thursday night region game, or Thursday night game this year that you all had to switch, or did the state switch it for you all?
So we actually did not get one. So, they kind of did a draw, and some people did not get drawn on one of those. And again, it was a matter of how many are we going to have to move to Thursday to make sure we have enough officials. So everybody in the state didn't get one, but everybody was thrown into the basket to get one.
I mean, that really could affect your gate in a big way if you get a non-region Thursday night game that's not, maybe a big draw. It could affect your gate big time.
And especially the school like us. But that's what we said when that whole thing came down was, if sometimes you schedule a game because we can't afford not to play this one. This is our money game, and if it gets moved to a Thursday, you're not going to make as much on a Thursday as you are on a Friday.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine anybody wanting to open up week 1 on a Thursday night.
Right.
Even though Sevier County and Jefferson County did that, I just don't know. That would not be a good fit, I don't think.
Right.
Especially for like an Austin East Fulton. You want to play that game on Friday night.
Right.
Or a Clinton Oak Ridge here. even though it's a region game, you want to make sure you play those on a Friday night.
And the way I understand it, the officiating shortage in football is harder in Middle and West than it is in East.
Yeah. Because that's funny you say that, because when we ran our 5-star prep jamboree 3 weeks ago now, they were actually telling us there that they have more officials right now in their I don't know if it's Knox Ridge, I don't know what they call themselves, but anyway, they've got more officials right now than they did last year. So I guess there's a little bit of an uptick of officials here in this area. Compared to what they had.
Yeah, and the concern, like he said, wasn't here. It was more, I think it kind of started in Memphis, and it's kind of starting to move its way towards Nashville. And so Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee, they're struggling right now.
So is there ever any talk, and we're getting off such a little bit, but I mean, people want to know this type of stuff. Is there ever any talk about like a guy that's on the sideline keeping the 25-second clock or keeping the clock itself? If you come to a shortage, would they just not become officials on the field and let someone in the press box do that like they used to? Or, I mean, like tonight, there was a guy at Grace running the clock. Is he just there in case someone gets hurt, or is he just didn't have an assignment tonight because they're wanting to give him?
Yeah, and so I think it's a little bit of both. And so right now, you'll probably see a young guy that's just now getting into officiating that hasn't been on the field yet, a chance to actually get on there, run the clock, get a feel for the game, watch these guys, look at different situations, so he's kind of learning on the job and not getting thrown into the fire. And then I also think you see now a lot of, man, this guy's been calling for 40 years, and so he's on his way out. Running's not his thing anymore, so he's going to go over there and run the clock. So you see a little bit of both.
Well, what you saw too was not more with the 35-second clock, but the play clock. But when we were in, I guess, 2012, 13, 14, we were rocking and rolling pretty good. The game would be 65-0 at the half, and they would schedule a young official for the first half, and he's on the clock. The second half, he's the back judge. And that was a way, because again the ball game was over, but they could use that and work these young guys in there, or they'd put him as a side judge. But anyway, they'd move him off the clock in situations like that.
Yeah, and I get some texts from people that call in. I'm not sure how that game played out. I did hear that Oak Ridge dropped a big pass late. I don't know who dropped that pass. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Jesse knew much about that game either. I don't know that he's got his story from that game, but I do know that there was a play late. That was a big play. I just don't know who dropped the pass. So, hey, we're going to switch gears real quick for our last 10 minutes of the show. We don't have many calls tonight. Like I said, we had a bunch of people traveling. Tennessee football. You've been on the sideline for Tennessee football for 20-plus years now. What did you see different last year from Coach Heupel versus what you've witnessed in the past 5 to 10 years?
Well, I won't say anything negative about anybody that's been there before, but I will say I will say a lot of positive about Coach Heupel, and and I told a lot of people this last year. I mean, just the way the sideline was organized down there was impressive, and then there wasn't a whole lot of animosity or anything going on down there. I mean, it was just a lot of coaching going on, I mean, a lot of positive. And I'm not saying they didn't get on a guy or raise a voice or whatever, but I mean, it was a lot of positive and a lot of coaching. And, kids are different nowadays. I mean, I still think you can coach them hard, but some of them, you start to lose them sometimes, but these guys, have really bought into Coach Heupel. I think they trust him. I think if you just listen to them talk when they get interviewed, they talk about Coach Heupel as a man and as a person as much as they do about him as a coach, and what he means to them. And they really feel like he's got their back and that he cares about them, as a person as much as he does as a player. And, and then I also look at Coach Heupel, and I think he does a good job, when he gets interviewed, but he's not really about flash and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a ball coach, and like he just coaches football, and that's what he wants to do, and it shows. And so just to see the energy on the sideline and the positivity down there. These guys buying in has been impressive.
So when you see guys come in now with NIL deals and all that, how much do you think the head coaching job has changed in the last 2 years? With all that being said, how much has recruiting changed? Is it more to the agent and people who are handling that, or is it more to the recruiting coordinator and the head coach? I'll let both of y'all speak on that and what you think.
Well, it's kind of funny. I've talked to a couple coaches about that and a couple different takes. But last night I was at the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame, and I sat at the table with Ralph Weekley's son and his wife. And so they were telling me that, when they went on vacation this summer, that normally Karen Weekley is pretty just laid back. She said, but she was constantly checking the portal. Said every day, a couple times a day, she's going back to the room to check the portal. So that part of it has changed. I heard one coach tell me that a former football coach in the SEC that he thought the portal was going to be good because, the NIL was going to be good because he thought it would keep kids, from going out there. If I'm really wanting to get paid for my name, I'm not going out there getting drunk on the strip. I'm not getting DUIs. I'm not getting arrested for hitting my girlfriend. That ruins my marketability.
Yeah.
So he thought from that standpoint, coaches would find it easier. Now, ironically, he was from Georgia. That took place quite a bit down there, but he thought that would be easier. And also a coach told me one time, he said that he coaches different in the summer now, because in the summer, when guys were playing pickup basketball, that he said, normally I would always pick teams. I would pick things, and he said, but now kids read so much into stuff. He said, the whole month of June, he said, I didn't pick teams. I let them pick teams. Because I was afraid they would think, we were putting our eggs with this guy or whatever. He said, but now the portal deadline was July 1. He said, after July 1, I picked teams.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference in, the transfer portal and the NIL. You talk to a head football coach now or head basketball coach in college, one of the first things they're looking at before they're even offering NIL or scholarships is the kid's social media. And I think it's so important from the high school level. Even they're in middle school now.
Yeah.
As a kid, they're not retweeting his tweeting his highlights out. And there's high school coaches all around Knoxville liking and retweeting and commenting on this kid. I think there's just you can be seen so many different ways now, but the social media aspect and the NIL and the transfer portal, I think it's changed college sports forever.
Well, I'll tell you another way. If you look at this, and being a head coach now is a lot like being a CEO, and if you'll go back and look, and probably viewers have seen this, and maybe you guys have too, but if you go back and look, and there's a lot of comments on it this past week, Florida's team picture was tweeted out.
Yes.
And there was more staff members in that team picture than there was players.
Right.
And I do know, and I've talked to several college coaches where, like a college coach hardly ever breaks down film on an opponent now. They've got a staff that does that for them, like, go get me this, go get me that. So they look all that up, bring all the analytics back to them, and then now there are full-time staff members that are in the portal all day long. Like that's their job. Like this guy handles the portal, and he's got 4 guys that work under him. Now that's all they do is stay in the portal all day. So it's a different ball game nowadays.
And what Rob can tell you too is the other aspect of that, of how the transfer portal has affected high school recruiting.
Do you think the transfer portal plus COVID for seniors the last 2 years has really put them at a big disadvantage?
Oh, there's numerous kids out there that did not get an opportunity that a couple of years ago would have had a ton of opportunities.
No doubt.
It's we've experienced it. We've seen it, with other kids in other schools, and I mean, it's almost to the point now where you get your first offer, you better commit right now. Yeah. If something better comes along later on, okay, but you better commit now, because if you don't, it won't be there in a couple of days.
I was having dinner with Chris Woodard a year ago, and obviously he's had some success. And he said the one thing that he was in the market for is he lost a kid, and he said, do I go replace him with an 18-year-old that I know will be good, or do I replace him with a 21-year-old that has success and will automatically help me out? Mm-hmm. And he said it's not fair to the 18-year-old because he's eventually going to be really good. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the way the pressure is in college sports, you've got to win right now. What have you done for me lately?
Well, I've said this too, I've just talking to a ton of the NAIA schools that recruit us, and I said, in the next year or two, you guys are going to have some studs. I mean, there's going to be some guys that would, play at Middle Tennessee or Austin P or ETSU that because of the portal, they're not going to get that opportunity. They're going to be playing NAIA ball, and so they're going to end up picking up some studs at that level.
Yeah. So with the whole thing being in the transfer portal of the NCAA, do you ever see anything changing with the state associations of high school with transfers or transfer kids being able to move at least once, or do you see anything changing? Do you see a trickle-down effect?
I don't. I know that some states have. I think Louisiana, there's about 10 states maybe where the NIL is rocking and rolling. It's not in Tennessee, and man, I hope it never comes to Tennessee. That has been.
You said rocking and rolling. Hold on. You mean like it's in effect?
It's in effect. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there was a proposal by, I don't remember the school, maybe Bartlett, a year or two, that came to the schools, and of course the schools set the bylaws of the TSBA. That's everybody. There is no. There is an office in Nashville, but the TSBA is it's Coalfield, it's Wartburg, it's Oliver Springs, it's Oak Ridge, it's Clinton, it's Fulton, it's the schools. We set our rules. So there was a proposal just for that. There was a proposal to allow a one-time transfer that you could do that. After that, regardless, there was a mandatory, you had to sit out 12 months. And it was soundly voted down by the members. So the member schools, I mean, I don't think, and I don't see them going that way. Now maybe the winds will of change will blow and that will come about. But the last time that came about, it was soundly defeated. The schools, I think, saw the negative side effects of all that.
So going to the game this Thursday night against Ball State, do the Vols have any problems at all with Ball State, or do you know anything about Ball State at all?
Well, I don't know anything about Ball State, but I've kept up with college football for a long time, but they're not on a Tennessee level, and where you saw Tennessee lose to a Georgia State a few years ago, I don't think you're looking at the same issue now. I mean, Tennessee's got depth now. Tennessee's not sitting there with, playing walk-ons and guys that are not ready to play. I mean, I think they're going to put 11 guys out at all times that are ready to play. And so for a Ball State to compete with an SEC school like Tennessee, I just don't see that being a factor. But they'll get paid to come and do it.
Yeah.
Well, you go back to the Georgia State game. How does a Georgia State beat a Tennessee? How does you go back and all these huge upsets? How does Appalachian State go to Michigan and win? Mm. Well, you go back and look at quarterback play. And every one of those ball games, the favored team had below average quarterback play.
Right.
And UT, I think they might have thrown a pick six early in that ball game on a swing pass or something like that. But they got below average quarterback play. And UT has got a very good quarterback. Mm-hmm. They're probably not going to get it. It would be a shocker if they got below average quarterback play. That's how an underdog comes in there and beats a big boy, they've got some pretty good play. But that big school generally gets below average quarterback play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the coaches who called in. We'd like to thank our sponsor, the free medical clinic Friday Night Scoreboard. We'd like to thank OEB for sponsoring the game of the week. We wanted to remind everyone we'll be back next week starting right after the OEB game of the week. Coach Gaddis will be with us next week, and Queener will be back. I know Queener is looking forward to next week. Him and Coach Gaddis are tight, and they can't wait to hang out next Friday night here. So for everyone here at BBB TV Channel 12, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for the free medical clinic as well. Have a good night, and go Vols.
Football is back, and OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense. Call OEB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
There's a lot of talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, but the reality is it's safer than being tackled by a Tennessee Titan. Give it a shot. Find a free vaccine appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Hi, I'm Holly Warlick, and I'm here with Kathy Mae Martin. Whether you're buying or selling real estate, rest assured, if you go with Kathy, you'll be with the winning team. Kathy ranks in the top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide. Her commitment to excellence and her nearly 30 years of knowledge and experience is sure to give you the competitive edge.
Let me and my team assist you with all your real estate goals.
Beautiful yards make a statement, and beautiful yards come from Simplicity Mowers. Their exclusive free-floating mower decks with full-width rollers track the contours of your yard for a perfect cut. So visit your neighborhood Simplicity dealer today and start the conversation about your lawn. Simplicity, the way to a beautiful lawn.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roan County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
turn your motorcycle wreck into a check.
You got a pain in your neck, just turn that wreck into a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want. Call OEB Law.
You call your agent with a simple question, only to get sent to voicemail again. We pick up the phone. I should get this. Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you? Like I said, we pick up the phone because it's ringing. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Hello, this is Sam.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Hi, I'm Holly Warlick, and I'm here with Kathy Mae Martin. Whether you're buying or selling real estate, rest assured, if you go with Kathy, you'll be with the winning team. Kathy ranks in the top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide. Her commitment to excellence and her nearly 30 years of knowledge and experience is sure to give you the competitive edge.
Let me and my team assist you with all your real estate goals.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roane State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
we should never lose sight of our health.
Are Kingston. We are Kingston. We are Kingston. We are Kingston.
ORUD has exciting new appliance incentives to offer your family. Buy appliances and get rewarded. It's as simple as that. Learn more about how much you can save at ORUD.org.
You can save over $1,000 on your annual utility bills when you make the switch to natural gas for heating, cooking, and clothes drying.
Natural gas is affordable, reliable, and safe. We are proud to offer our customers a product that saves money, provides consistent service, and is a clean energy source.
ORUD is your one-stop shop. We sell and install gas appliances for our customers and make it easy to add to your bill with our 0% interest financing.
You can make the game-winning play by switching to natural gas this football season. ORUD is your affordable energy choice.
Springs isn't as fortunate. Larry Green coached his 7th and final season for the Bobcats before stepping down. He's been replaced by Tyler Harper. Harper is a familiar face in the program, having served as the middle school head coach, assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator for his current team. He's known as a high-character guy, and he'll have his work cut out for him. The Bobcats finished 3-5 last season and began this one with a loss to cross-county rival Rockwood. Can Kingston keep momentum going, or will the rookie coach get his first signature win? We'll find out tonight on the OEB Law Game of the Week. Day or night, 24/7, someone will be there to answer and give you a free consultation and get to work on your case immediately. Call 865-546-1111 or visit the website full of helpful information, reckontoacheck.com. That's OEB Law. Welcome to the pregame show, brought to you by Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties. And Elaine has over 5 years of experience with over $20 million in sales, serving the Anderson, Cumberland, Loudoun, Knox, Meigs, Morgan, Roane, and Scott counties. You can give her a call at 423-619-6748. That is Elaine Walden. I'm Aaron Harvey, joined once again by my pal, who sometimes moonlights as an entomologist, Coach James Hoot Gibson. Boy, week 2 out of 11, and we've got a Roane County showdown, which is always exciting.
Exciting to say the least. You know, I'm expecting some hard-hitting football here tonight with this old-school county rivalry.
And I'm sure we will. We're inching closer to kickoff here. We'll get you caught up on what's going on around the area, as well as preview tonight's game when we get back. You're listening to the Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show on the OEB Law Game of the Week.
Football is back, and OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense. Call OEB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
When we moved to Tennessee last year, found out he had terminal cancer. And just hearing that, you know, this was supposed to be his lifelong home. It was like they were family when they came up. The respect that you can't fathom, the respect that somebody shown to your family member. When they had left, we turned around and looked, and my dad had passed away in his chair. They had his blankets folded up so nice, and they put a red rose on his chair. Just the afterthought of something like that was nothing we could have ever experienced anyplace else.
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
Hi, I'm Holly Warlick, and I'm here with Kathy Mae Martin. Whether you're buying or selling real estate, rest assured, if you go with Kathy, you'll be with the winning team. Kathy ranks in the top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide. Her commitment to excellence and her nearly 30 years of knowledge and experience is sure to give you the competitive edge.
Let me and my team assist you with all your real estate goals.
When should you get tested for COVID-19? You have symptoms of COVID-19, such as runny nose, congestion, sore throat, fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle pain, headache, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Current testing recommendations say everyone should get tested immediately if they have symptoms of COVID-19. If you have symptoms, be sure to follow recommendations about how long to stay home and away from others. For more information, visit our If You Are Sick or Test Positive webpage.
"1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Welcome back to tonight's broadcast. Aaron Harvey, James Gibson along with you. And you are tuned in to the Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show on the OAB Law Game of the Week. Elaine has over 5 years of experience with over $20 million in sales, serving the Anderson, Cumberland, Loudoun, Knox, Meigs, Morgan, Roane, and Scott counties. That is Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties. You know, our season got kicked off like the grand finale at the fireworks show that won't light, okay? Everyone was excited to see the premier matchup, probably in all of Tennessee, when Powell traveled to Anderson County. When Powell quarterback Jordan Potts left the game with an injury in the first quarter, the dynamic of that game changed, and the Mavericks cruised to a 48-14 victory. There were some fears that maybe Potts had torn a rotator cuff. Now it appears it's less serious, and he'll return this season, which is great news. Regardless, Anderson County looked very impressive in that win.
Impressive indeed. In fact, everyone took notice that this is a different Anderson County football team. And I'm excited to see how they progress as the season moves forward. This team is way better defensively, and I expect them to stun a lot of people this year.
Ain't no rest for the wicked, as they say, and that's how I would describe AC's offense. Tonight, it's in Science Hill to take on the 6A Hilltoppers. Powell was in action last night, losing to Maryville, and they didn't have a Potts to hope in. Thank you. That final was 38-13. A big surprise last week came as Wartburg ended the first half trailing Coalfield 14-6. That turned out to be the final score. Coalfield was sloppy, racking up over 170 yards and penalties, but Wartburg had 4 turnovers. The Bulldogs seem to be buying into whatever new coach Dustin Peels is selling. This week sees them on the road to take on another blue and white team, Harriman. COVID robbed the teams from playing last season, and in the team's previous 2 meetings, they split wins. Harriman took it on the chin to open the season against Kingston, 51-0. Do you think Wartburg can get its first win of the Peels era tonight?
Well, Damon Duncan of Wartburg had one heck of a game last week versus Coalfield. Throwing the ball for over 115 yards. They got this big guy, Hunter Morgan. He had 8 tackles in a game versus Coalfield, and I believe he had 3 sacks in that game alone. So look for Hunter Morgan to have a big game tonight, and also Isaiah Susak. leading the way on defense. So look for the Bulldogs to come out throwing the ball a lot and to get their first win over Harriman since 2019. Expect a close ball game, but offensive line coach Cody Sexton from Wartburg told me some really good things that's going on up there for the Wartburg football program, so I'm excited, and we'll find out tonight if it's the real deal.
Should be a good game over in Harriman. Oak Ridge so far looks like it's bounced back after its disappointing 2021 campaign. The Wildcats took care of business for new head coach Scott Cummings, dispatching South Doyle 46-20. That avenged a loss from last season, and tonight they'll have a chance to do that again at Bearden. The Bulldogs were thumped by a very good West team last week, 27-7. I know you've said that you think that this is the Wildcats' year. Do they start 2-0 after tonight?
Well, it's no secret I'm high on the Wildcats, but this Bearden team is a tough, rugged bunch. We seen last year give Oak Ridge all they wanted there and then some. So, they could surprise this Oak Ridge team if they're not careful. I'm expecting Oak Ridge to grind this Bearden team down and win by 2 to 3 touchdowns. The difference maker so far for this Oak Ridge team is getting all that talent kind of moving in the right direction, and that defense that they are playing is really nice.
We're here at Kingston. Kingston's large marching band is standing on the sidelines. They are ready to go, get this thing started. Clock says we're about 17 and a half minutes from kickoff. We've got some more of the East Tennessee Properties pregame show, courtesy of Elaine Walden, coming up in just a moment. This is your OAB Law Game of the Week.
Patterson's Appliances has been helping families like yours find quality home appliances from trusted brands including Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid for over 55 years. Our knowledgeable appliance specialists know how to outfit your kitchen or laundry room with the right appliances to meet your needs. We service what we sell with our own in-house factory-trained service technicians, and for the DIYers, our parts department is always ready to help customers find the appliance parts they need. Patterson's Home Appliances, because we care.
Energize your home with natural gas from ORUD, your affordable energy choice. See all the ways natural gas can improve your home by visiting one of the ORUD showrooms in Oak Ridge or Kingston. New gas appliances run more efficiently. They provide hot water when you need it, precise heat control for cooking, and can dry clothes in about half the time. Comfort you can feel. Savings you can use. ORUD Natural Gas.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
When your champions are always on the go, make sure their journey is safe and reliable. Ray Varner Ford in Clinton can drive you to the next level of performance in this new 2022 F-150 4x4 $39,990. 2022 Explorer XLT 4-wheel drive $51,245. 2022 F-150 4x4 Super Crew $62,240.
Local you trust, performance you can afford.
Ray Varner Ford, your East Tennessee Ford dealership. I-75 exit 122 or shop us online at rayvarnerford.com.
Really? Again? Hey, if I had automotive style suspension like the new Simplicity, plus a free floating mower deck for the best cut, I'd be all that too.
Well,
and if I had the expertise and advice of his Simplicity dealer, maybe he'd look forward to hanging out with me.
you don't have a Simplicity dealership.
Good point. Huh.
Yeah.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
And welcome back to our OAB Law Game of the Week and our pregame show, the Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties pregame show. Elaine, again, over 5 years of experience, $20 million in sales. If you need to buy a home or sell a home in the Anderson, Cumberland, Loudoun, Knox, Meigs, Morgan, Roane, or Scott counties, give her a call, 423-619-6748. Again, 423-619-6748, or the number you see on your screen there. Before the break, we were talking about Oak Ridge. You know, they share a region with Clinton, and the Dragons look like a force to be reckoned with. Coach Darrell Keith's program said, "Goodbye, Governor," to William Blunt in a 48-0 rout. Tonight, the show goes on the road to take on the smaller but talented Roadrunners of Austin East, which starts 0-1 after a loss to Fulton. Do we see the Wile E. Coyote tonight, or do the Dragons say Dracarys and roast them a bird?
Rawr. I think the Dragons are turning the tide and have one of the better teams in this area. A great football coach leading that program. I'm going Clinton over Austin East.
You know, one of the more intriguing matchups takes place just a few miles down Highway 27 when the Wildcats of the Sweetwater variety forge forward for a fierce feline fight against the Rockwood Tigers. Sweetwater led a win against 2A powerhouse Meigs County, slipped from its fingertips in Week 1, leading 22-8 before falling 23-22. Rockwood has one of its better teams in a few years, which was on full display when the Tigers bullied the Bobcats of OS 42-9. Last season's game was a classic, a 36-35 win for Sweetwater. This game could turn out to be just as intense as that one. Who you got?
This is always a close game, but I'm expecting a lot of this Rockwood team who is loaded with talent, okay? Hannibal had almost 70 yards on limited carries last week, so look for Rockwood to continue the winning streak.
Yeah, they've got something going for Coach Webb this season. One of the better teams he's had in a few years.
If things stay healthy, it's going to be a great year for the Rockwood Tigers.
You know, Farragut got an impressive win in Week 1 against Beach. This week doesn't get any easier. The Admirals are at West. We've already talked about them. This was a 41-38 Rebel win last year. What do you think about it?
Hey, listen, Farragut is very dangerous in the air this year, and really has the possibility of being one of the better games in East Tennessee. So look for Farragut to sling the ball all over the field. They have a very talented wide receiver over there that's committed to Virginia Tech to play baseball. But I'm thinking he might have a couple D1 football offers following pretty quickly.
So it looks like the band is getting ready to get on the field. So we'll hang out here for just a little bit and see if we can make it to the national anthem. And number one, let me just say this, because every time that we come to Roane County, you know, they take a lot of pride in their bands. And so every school in Roane County has a band. They've got a big band competition that they hold every single year. Man, when you get a band in high school sports, it adds something spectacular to this atmosphere.
The atmosphere is just unreal down here at Kingston and any school in Roane County. It's a testament to the tradition of football down here in this area.
And, you know, one of the things for me that separates college from the NFL, I like the NFL, don't get me wrong, but college is just something different. And for me, it's because you can hear that band in the background, no matter what they play. Of course, I'm a homer, so I enjoy hearing Rocky Top, but just the bands in general really add to that atmosphere. So I tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and go to break, and we will come back and try to get the national anthem. This is the OAB Law Game of the Week.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense. Call OEB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
When we moved to Tennessee,
well, you know, if I had just waited 20 seconds, then we could have gotten the start of the national anthem. That is my fault. But here we are for the pregame show. That is the national anthem, which tells you that it is time to talk about tonight's game. But first, before we do, I'd like to mention and say thank you to Elaine Walden of East Tennessee Properties for sponsoring our pregame show tonight. Elaine, with over $20 million in sales, over 5 years of experience, someone that we both personally know. She's a really good person. Give her a call. You can see the number on your screen there, 423-334-0070 or 423-619-6748.
Moving is scary, guys, and buying houses in today's market is pretty scary. So, guys, you do not want to trust anybody other than Elaine Walden of the East Tennessee Properties. She's sold over several hundred homes to families like yours that's in need. So give her a call and she can help you out.
I've only bought one home in my life so far, and I can tell you that having a real estate agent that knows what they're doing makes a huge difference.
An honest and you know, responsive realtor is very important, and that's her.
All right, so looking at the clock, it says we're 6 minutes out from kickoff, so let's go ahead and get started talking about this one. You know, Rome wasn't built overnight, and that could be a problem for the visiting Oliver Springs tonight. Last week against Rockwood, the Tigers scored first, but the Bobcats scored right back to notch the game at 7 apiece. After that, though, Rockwood rattled off 35 more points, and OS got a safety to make the final 42-9. Rockwood is a contender in Region 2 AA, so it wasn't an easy way to start the season, but Week 2 looks like a salt shaker, charging hard at the wounds. Kingston looks to be a contender in Region 3 AAA, as Brian Pankey's team looks to improve upon a season where a region championship was only a game away. The Yellow Jackets are breaking in some new starters on offense, and so far that hasn't been an issue. Oliver Springs is breaking in a new coach, Tyler Harper. It's cliche, but this is one of those games where the record books get thrown out the window like anyone who stands up to Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, on paper it's very similar to the Russian military and the Ukraine military. Size comparison, you know, as well, with Oliver Springs only having 33 total football players on that roster, and Kingston having over 65 on their roster. So you never know what you're going to get when these two Rome County teams square off, but this is a pretty good Kingston team. So Oliver Springs better bring their best game.
Oliver Springs put the ball on the ground 3 times last week, losing 2 of those. You can't do that tonight against a veteran Kingston team, which will look to control the ground game.
Listen, if Oliver Springs turns the ball over 1 time tonight, I'm predicting a Kingston win.
Just one?
Just one. You can't give Kingston football.
So you got to be perfect tonight if you are Oliver Springs. So some new faces, possibly some new strategy in this still new season. What will you be looking at most tonight?
Well, I want to see how Kingston utilizes their depth. Do they reach deep into the roster, or do they only have a select number of trustworthy players that can contribute? That will tell me how good this Kingston team actually is.
I like to ask you what your keys to the game are every single week, so tonight that'll be no different. What are the keys for both of these teams?
Well, Kingston, being the bigger squad, has just got to execute, have limited turnovers and penalties, and substitute. Oliver Springs has got to force several turnovers, win in the kicking game, and have better field position the majority of the game to keep this a close ball game.
I'll say this for Oliver Springs, looking at their roster, they've got over 30 kids. That's really good for Tyler Harper, a new coach, to get that many kids out for a single-A school.
Yeah, it really is. And Tyler Harper's doing a great job down there at Oliver Springs. He's the Oliver Springs guy through and through, played high school football down there and has been associated with the program basically since he graduated high school. So nobody knows that Oliver Springs program better than Tyler Harper. And he'll get that thing moving in the right direction. It's just been a tough year last year. I believe they were 3-5, something such as that. So I know last week wasn't started off the way that they were expecting with the Rockwood game. So let's see if they've got in the film room and kind of worked on their mistakes and see if we see a little different ball club tonight.
Yeah, but let's be honest. When you've got a new coach, a new system, you come out for that week one, a team like Rockwood is not really who you want to try to break that in with.
No, because they've had stability at the coaching ranks for 30 years at Rockwood. So those kids, they know what the plays are. They know the system through and through. And Oliver Springs kids are having to learn a little bit of a new system. So it takes a little bit more time when you're trying to build a program.
Now, you mentioned how Tyler Harper is an Oliver Springs guy. He has been coaching in that system, well, at the middle school level and at the high school level for the last 10 years at the very least. So he's been there. When a guy like that gets the head job, does he change much?
Well, it just depends on the individual that's leading the way there. But normally when you take a guy that has been there for so long, his knowledge of the football game is very Oliver Springs. So there's not a lot of changes that happen unless you kind of bring in new blood to the coaching ranks, or you have a forward-thinking football coach that goes out and goes to a lot of camps, coaches clinics and such as that picks up some different traits from other coaches.
The clock says we are a minute and a half away from kickoff. You just saw on your screen Oliver Springs wins the toss. They elect to defer to the second half, so Kingston will get the football first. You're a smaller team, obviously, if you're Oliver Springs. You don't have near as many kids. When you win a toss like that, what's the strategy going against a team like Kingston?
Well, Kingston has everything checked off for the ball game to go their way. They have more football players. They have more coaches. They got more support, more funds down here in Kingston than Oliver Springs. So there is no excuse for Kingston to lose this ball game. Very few and far between. Oliver Springs is a blue-collar, tough-nosed football program, and I don't care who they play. They're going to bring the best in them, and it's always fun to cover an Oliver Springs football team because the hard hitting is always following.
And you are very familiar with that, played against Oliver Springs a lot when you were in high school. So I know there were a lot of really hard battles between the Wartburg Bulldogs and Oliver Springs, talking in the early 2000s.
Yeah, Oliver Springs, led by Frank Johnson back in the day, was one of the better programs, only losing to the likes of Alcoa for 5 to 10 years there in the early 2000s. Oliver Springs was dangerous, but you're talking about 15 years ago, and Oliver Springs only having 35 on their rosters new to me. When I was in high school, Oliver Springs had around 60 on the sideline. So it's a little different, but look for that program to just continue to add numbers and just keep winning.
Well, when you were in high school, too, Oliver Springs was a double-A school, just like Wartburg, and they have lost some enrollment, and they have been moved down to the single-A. And you think about that, when you were in high school, when we were in high school, there were 3 classifications for football. No, there were 5.
There was 5.
Yeah. 5. So they've extended that to 6. So you would think that, if anything, they would move up in classification. But instead, even after adding a whole new classification, they moved down. So that is a lot of enrollment that they lost.
Well, a lot of people don't or will forget that Oliver Springs and Harriman both were borderline 3A programs in the old traditional 5A, 5 classes. because Harriman was one of the larger schools growing-wise in Roane County. Same for Oliver Springs, but after NAFTA was signed, we've seen a lot of exodus of businesses and such in our local area, which, hurt these local schools significantly. Harriman dropping down to 1A, Oliver Springs dropping down to 1A, so it's had an impact here.
And there is Kingston running through the paper. They look fired up and ready to go.
I think one of the biggest storylines here tonight is that the starting quarterback for Oliver Springs, Kane Googe, senior, 6'3", 202 pounds, was injured last week versus Rockwood. Now that really sets that Oliver Springs team back.
So we'll see what they do tonight. The backup quarterback on Oliver Springs' roster is a freshman. So we'll see if the freshman gets the start tonight or if they have to utilize him.
What a welcoming for a freshman, a ninth grader, to start his first football game against the Yellow Jackets of Kingston in a very big rival game. So let's see how the young man handles his composure early on.
There's Brian Pankey on your screen as Kingston will get set to receive this kickoff. Tonight's kickoff brought to you by Davis Funeral Home of Wartburg and Harriman. Go to davisfuneralhomes.com for more information. Call 346-2011 in Wartburg, or for the one in Harriman, 865-882-2000.
Coach Pankey in his 10th season at Kingston. He's 50-50. Last week win over Harriman, 51-0. Tyler Harper's his first season, 0-1. Lost to Rockwood, 42-9 last week. Getting ready for kickoff.
Kicking off for Oliver Springs, Liam Bokey. And here's an onside kick, the same way that they started the game against Rockwood, and it goes out of bounds.
Had a guy in the area, and it just rolled right out of bounds. The Kingston player was able to just prevent them, really, from running after football and keeping it in bounds.
So second week in a row, you try to come out and kick an onside kick. So when I asked you what a smaller school strategy is when they win the toss, maybe that's what the strategy is. They thought, let's kick off and try to steal the possession.
Yeah, they're looking for any kind of turnover, opportunity to get that offense back on the field as quickly as possible. So very aggressive way to start off the ball game. We'll see how it works out for them.
All right, so here's our first look at Kingston. Handoff, and going over left tackle and almost stripped from behind. That's a good run right there, and a good way to hold on to the football by Parker Brackett.
Mason Day in on the tackle for the Oliver Springs Bobcats. Did a really good job of getting his hands on the football of the ball carrier, as you see there. Great blocking by the Kingston Yellow Jackets offensive line. Really opened up a good hole.
Kingston, led by quarterback Mason Martin, senior on this team. And now we've got a flag.
Flag on the play. Dead ball. Offsides.
And that will go against Oliver Springs. It's an offsides penalty, and that 5-yard penalty will result in a Hammers 1st and 10 for Kingston. Ball spotted at the Oliver Springs 40-yard line. Here's Martin. Handoff, going right. Now reversing his field left is Rylan Gettner. Gettner breaks down the sideline to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Kingston. A 40-yard run by Rylan Gettner, the junior. And with 11:04 left to go in this first quarter, Kingston's already on the board. And we'll see this on the Chuck Fleischman replay. Gettner starts to the right and then just sees nothing, reverses his field.
Yeah, Gettner's getting it, son. Look at that. He really has good field vision. He saw the hole, closed up, bounced it back outside, made something out of nothing, turned it into a touchdown.
And the extra point by Conan Littlefield is good, and Kingston leads this one 7-0 with 11:04 left to go in the first quarter on the OEB Law Game of the Week.
season full of big hits, perfect plays, and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense and tackle any obstacles blocking you from scoring a full and fair settlement. Call OAB Law 865-546-1111 and turn your wreck into a check.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Back to the OAB Law Game of the Week. And kicking off for Kingston, getting the touchback is Conan Littlefield. That kickoff brought to you by Davis Funeral Homes of Wartburg and Harriman. Go to davisfuneralhomes.com or call 865-882-2000 or 423-346-2011 as Oliver Springs will start this drive at the 20-yard line with the Hammers, 1st and 10. It took Kingston 54 seconds to score.
Oliver Springs coming out with twins to both sides. Running back setting to the right side of the quarterback.
And it looks like Dakota Adkins will get the start at quarterback for the Bobcats. Adkins with the keeper. Gets the ball up to the 25. Pickup of about 5. Will bring up second and about 5.
Oliver Springs missing their starting quarterback. Looks like they're going to try to spread the field out and attack with that running game.
Decided not to go with the freshman backup. Instead, went with one of their wide receivers at starting quarterback.
Stacked wide receivers for Oliver Springs.
And Kingston jumps off sides just like that, and that might be enough for a first down. If not, it's going to be second inches.
Looked like Riley Walker there, just got a little excited at the linebacker position. Tried to time the snap, got caught. Big penalty there for the Oliver Springs Bobcats.
And this time, a handoff to Day, Mason Day, and we've got a flag on the field again. That's going to be a face mask.
Yeah, Mason Hatfield came in on off the edge there, grabbed him on the face mask and drug him down. Sometimes when you're playing that defensive line position, it's pretty hard to know what you're grabbing as somebody's trying to prevent you from doing that. So Hatfield just got caught there on the play.
So that's a personal foul, face mask, which makes that a 15-yard penalty. And that will be enough for Oliver Springs to have a first down. And the ball will be spotted around the 43-yard line of Oliver Springs. So the Bobcats moving the football by way of 2 penalties so far and a 5-yard run by the starting quarterback, but moving the football nonetheless.
Trips to the top side of your screen.
Adkins brings his team back up to the line. Shotgun formation. Single back in the backfield is Day. Man in motion. And will get the jet sweep going from left to right, and that's Jackson Jett. And Jett is brought down in the backfield for a loss.
Riley Walker there, number 30, the junior linebacker for Kingston Yellow Jackets. Did a really good job that time of scraping from that linebacker position, seeing where the guards were laying, get upfield, make a tackle. That's a great play by a linebacker in high school.
6 yards lost on that play, brings up 2nd and 16.
Wide receivers out past the numbers on both sides.
Quarterback keeper this time and gets up to the 40-yard line. So pickup of about 3 for Dakota Adkins. will bring up third and long.
Coach Brian Pankey is 2-2 versus the Oliver Springs Bobcats.
Now, you look at the trajectories of these two teams. Oliver Springs went 3-5 last season, like you said. Kingston was one win away from a region championship. And it's only been 2 years since Oliver Springs had a winning streak in this series. That's hard for me to believe.
That's hard to believe. That's a testament to the program that Oliver Springs has built.
And we got some flags on the play. That's a false start on Oliver Springs. That's a 5-yard penalty. We'll bring up 3rd and 18. Quite the hole.
That makes your playbook really shrink up there. 3rd and long with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, this is where you normally are going to see a draw. Probably.
Yeah, some kind of screen or draw, quarterback draw, but I just can't see him putting the ball up deep.
Bobcats hurry to the line, and they should because they've only got 2 seconds on the play clock. Do not get the play off. Instead, Oliver Springs will have to burn a timeout. Timeouts tonight brought to you by Patterson's Appliances. Follow them on Facebook for appliance specials, job postings, and more. This is the OAB Law Game of the Week.
A college degree can't be earned in just one day, but can be achieved by doing our best together, just one day at a time. From getting a great start with your Roan State Success Coach, to learning together in the classroom, accessing free tutoring in the Learning Center, and working one-on-one with your instructors. Together, we succeed, one day at a time. Oh, and free tuition helps. So apply at roanstate.edu now, and let's succeed together.
Back at your OAB Law Game of the Week, Aaron Harvey, James Gibson. 3rd and 18 is what Oliver Springs will face. 7:28 left to go in the first quarter. Going to send 2 wideouts to the left. Single back of the backfield. Adkins drops back to pass. Looks, and finally just chucks it back. And we've got... What a play, a flea flicker, and look at Oliver Springs go. That pass is complete to Jackson Jett. Still on his feet, reverses his field, gets all the way down to the Kingston 20.
That's right, young man. You celebrate. What a play. I cannot believe that we just seen that. That is awesome by Jett. He really turned the Jets on, picked up a huge play for the Oliver Springs Bobcats.
It looked like nothing. What happened?
Nothing. There was nothing. He sees that. He's carrying the ball low. Throws it back to his offensive lineman. I don't want this. But it was a backwards.
Was it a backwards pass? Was it?
It was called that.
All right, so Kingston is going to take a timeout now because I think Brian Pankey's going to tell him the same thing. I don't know if that was a backwards pass. Your timeout's brought to you by Patterson's Appliances, quality appliances from brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid.
Patterson's Appliances has been helping families like yours find quality home appliances from trusted brands including Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid for over 55 years. Our knowledgeable appliance specialists know how to outfit your kitchen or laundry room with the right appliances to meet your needs. We service what we sell with our own in-house factory-trained service technicians, and for the DIYers, our parts department is always ready to help customers find the appliance parts they need. Patterson's Home Appliances, because we...
Back to your OAB Law Game of the Week. 1st and 10. The Hammers 1st and 10 for Oliver Springs after a double flea flicker. And here's Adkins going to pick it up and try to get around the end. He does. Gets down to the 15, all the way down the 11-yard line before he's tackled. That's a pickup of 8. We'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Bobcats.
Another great run that time by Dakota Atkins, the junior, 5'10", 154 pounds. See, nothing's there. Picking up something out of nothing.
Yeah, you see on the Chuck Fleischman replay, pretty good movement there by the athletic junior Adkins. Now 2 backs in the backfield for Oliver Springs. That's Jet and Day. Adkins takes the snap, hands off, goes to Jet. Jet up the middle, still going, reaches out probably to the 2-yard line, and that's going to bring up a Hammers 1st and goal.
The freshman is talented, okay? Breaking news. This kid is going to be lightning for years to come for the Oliver Springs Bobcats.
Yeah, they might have to give him a nickname centered around his last name, Jet, somehow. Flies right through there like a jet. We're really, really proud that Tim Elrod donates money in these games. So here's Adkins in the backfield. Jet and Day with him as well. This time it goes to Day. Day trying to find the end zone. Does he? He does. Touchdown, Oliver Springs.
The Bobcats answer quickly.
And they were facing a 3rd and 18. This drive went 80 yards, and we've got 5:14 left to go in the game. An extra point away from tying it are the Oz Bobcats.
This extra effort right here, the lean over you see there on your screen. Got the ball to cross the plane. Touchdown, Oliver Springs.
That's an impressive drive.
It really was. We've seen a lot of highlights right there. If you're at home watching on the internet, push rewind, watch that run. Pretty impressive.
And the extra point attempt is blocked. So Kingston will retain the lead 7-6. 5:14 left to go in this first quarter on your OEB Law Game of the Week.
Honey, they're back.
Come on. No. Get out of here. Get out of here. No more. That.
A professional grade lawn is going to attract attention. Simplicity Lawn Tractors.
Back at your OAB Law Game of the Week. So if you are just joining us, your score is 7-6. Oliver Springs versus Kingston. Kingston with a 1-point lead. The Yellow Jackets got the ball first, drove straight down the field in 54 seconds, and scored to put 7 up on the board. Oliver Springs, though, returned fire, went 80 yards, got into the end zone with 5:14 left to go in the first quarter. The extra point was blocked. That's where we stand here. Kingston with a 7-6 lead.
Don't you love Roane County football? You never know what you're going to get when these teams match up.
You got to love it. Tonight's kickoff's brought to you by Davis Funeral Homes. Give them a call at 882-2000 or 346-2011, or go to davisfuneralhomes.com for more information. So here is Boki getting ready to kick off. And we've got flags on the play, and I think...
Timeout on the field. Sideline warning. Kingston.
All right, so Kingston got a sideline warning. And what Oliver Springs was going to do right there, I think they were going to try to onside again, but they weren't going to use Boki. They were going to bring, it looked like Day over and allow him to kick.
Well, it worked out for Kingston there, just having that to be able to see kind of what the plan was for Oliver Springs so that that front line can adjust appropriately.
So here is Boki. This time he will pooch it up into the air, and this again will go out of bounds and almost hit our cameraman, Chris Bricky, just a few feet away from him. He had a great view of that right there. That's an illegal procedure. So that's a 5-yard penalty, and Kingston could make them re-kick with a 5-yard penalty, but it looks like Kingston instead will take the football at the 37-yard line. So Mason Martin comes back onto the field, and that quarterback position will lead this Kingston Yellow Jacket offense.
Kingston coming to the line of scrimmage with a loaded formation.
And then here is the handoff, goes to Gettner. Gettner is not Gettner. brought down in the backfield after a loss of 1.
Cole Jackson, the linebacker, sophomore, number 1 for the Auburn Springs Bobcats, broke through the line of scrimmage. Nothing going.